Where do I even begin with this? I suppose the start is as good a place as any. I really thought I had everything figured out. Decent job, nice house in the BBS, marry my high school sweetheart, Jenna. We were coming up on our 7th wedding anniversary together for nearly 10 years, total counting dating. And from the outside looking in, I'm sure we seemed like the perfect couple that I couldn't have been more wrong. The first hint that something was off came with all those late nights at the office. Jenna was a paralegal, so a bit of overtime wasn't unusual, but this was getting ridiculous. She'd stroll in close to midnight, tossing out some excuse about a big case needing last-minute prep. Then came that business trip that mysteriously got extended 3 times. Always sounded sketchy to me. But what did I know? She swore it was legit, that the senior partners needed her on-site for some urgent filings. I wanted to believe her. It was easier than facing the alternative. Then my buddy Rick called, said he'd seen Jenna downtown with some guy at a cozy little bistro. Said it didn't look like a business dinner, if you know what I mean. I brushed it off at first. Told myself Rick must have been mistaken. Jenna wouldn't cheat. We had something good, until we didn't. The red flags kept piling up. Her phone was glued to her hand 24/7, always angled away from me. She started dressing differently, buying lingerie just because. Our sex life went from lukewarm to non-existent overnight. I wasn't stupid. Deep down, I knew what was happening. I just didn't want to admit it. I told myself she was stressed, that we'd get through it. What a joke that D-Day hit on a random Thursday. Jenna said she was working late again, so I thought I'd surprise her with her favorite Thai takeout. Maybe we could reconnect, talk things out. When I got to her office, an intern pointed me to a conference room, said Jenna was finishing a meeting and would be happy to see me. Happy, right as I opened the door, expecting to see her buried in case files with a few colleagues. Instead, I got front row seats to my wife mid-affair, riding her ex like it was some kind of twisted reunion tour. I must have made a sound because they froze. Jenna's face twisted from pleasure to panic in half a second. Dan, I can explain. It's not what it looks like. Yeah, sure. I didn't stay to hear it. I just turned around and left, takeout and dignity, both lying in pieces on the floor that I drove for hours, trying to wrap my head around the bomb that had just gone off in my life. Part of me wanted to believe it was a one-time thing, something she'd spend forever trying to make right. But I wasn't that naive anymore. When I finally got home, Jenna was on the couch, mascara-streaked, sobbing. She started spinning some story about old feelings and bad decisions. I let her talk for about 5 minutes before I asked one question. How long? She blinked, pretending not to understand. What? How long have you been sleeping with Jake? Yeah, Jake. The ex. The same college boyfriend who dumped her for some sorority chick years ago and came crawling back when he needed a side piece. Real class act. Her mouth opened and closed like a broken puppet. Finally, she whispered, a few months. But Dan, I swear, just stop. I surprised myself with how calm I sounded. I don't want to hear it. She started crying again, but I was out of sympathy. I grabbed a pillow and a blanket, tossed them on the couch. You can sleep here tonight. We'll talk in the morning. I locked the bedroom door and stared at the ceiling until sunrise, by the time her alarm went off. I already had a plan. I called in sick, packed a suitcase, and went downstairs. Jenna was waiting, eyes swollen, face pale. She tried to speak, but I cut her off. I'm going to stay at a hotel for a few days. I need space. Dan, please. Don't go. We can fix this. We can do counseling, anything. That I shook my head. You broke my trust. You broke us. That's not something an apology fixes. She cried harder, but it didn't move me anymore. I'll think about it, I lied. But for now, I need time. Don't call, don't text, don't show up. I'll reach out when I'm ready. She nodded. I picked up my bag and walked out. The slam of the door, the only closure I needed. Didn't go to a hotel, though. I went straight to the bank, then to my buddy's law firm. By noon, I had a new account and a shark of a divorce lawyer. By 5, Jenna was served. Even with no kids and a prenup, my lawyer said it'd still take 90 days to finalize. 90 days too long that I told him I didn't care how long it took, as long as it happened. The call came just as I was checking into my room at the Holiday Inn. I let it go to voicemail twice. On the third attempt, I picked up, bracing myself for the flood of tears and guilt trips. But Jenna wasn't crying. Her voice was ice cold when she bit out, "Divorce? Are you freaking serious right now, Dan?" I leaned back on the bed, phone wedged between my ear and shoulder. "Serious as a heart attack, Jenna. Did you really think I'd just forgive and forget?" She made a sound somewhere between a sob and a snarl. "So what? One mistake and it's over? 7 years of marriage, nearly a decade together. Just gone? One mistake." I laughed, though it sounded bitter even to me. "Sleeping with your ex for months isn't a mistake, Jenna. It's a choice. A series of choices, actually, and choices have consequences. Divorce is one of them." "This is insane," she spat. "We can work through this, Dan. Don't throw away everything we have over something so stupid." Red flickered at the edges of my vision. "Stupid? You want to talk stupid?" "Stupid is screwing your douchebag ex where anyone could walk in. Stupid is thinking I wouldn't find out. Stupid is believing I'd just roll over and play the clueless husband while you got your thrills." Silence. Then, softly, "I made a mistake. I'm sorry. I love you. Doesn't that count for anything?" For a second, I wavered. Maybe this could be fixed. Maybe there was something left to save. But then I remembered her flushed face as she bounced on Jake's lap, the way she screamed his name, the looks of pity from everyone who'd known but me. And I knew there was no going back. Love isn't enough, Jenna. Not this time. You made your bed. Now you get to lie in it. I hope it was worth it. I hung up to the sound of her crying my name. It'd be the last time I heard her voice for a long, long while. The next few weeks were a blur. Jenna tried everything, begging, pleading, bargaining, threatening. She even showed up at my hotel at 3 a.m., mascara streaked, reeking of booze, pounding on my door like something out of a bad movie. I ignored her every time, just referred her my lawyer. After 2 weeks, I moved back into the house. Jenna had cleared out most of her stuff, leaving a few boxes in the garage. I changed the locks and installed a security system with cameras at every entrance. Call it paranoia, but after her behavior, I wasn't taking chances. The legal process crawled along, painfully slow compared to how fast I wanted over. The 90-day waiting period felt endless, but eventually it was finalized. Thanks to the prenup, division was simple. Jenna got her payout. I kept the house and my retirement. A clean break, or so I thought. But if I believed the divorce was the end, I was wrong. That's when Jenna really started. The calls came first, unknown numbers, all hours of the day and night. I ignored them all. The voicemails swung from tearful apologies to drunken rants calling me a heartless bastard. Then came the emails, pages of rambling nonsense, rehashing every argument, every old wound. She even brought up things from high school, like the time I forgot our 2-month anniversary. "Really, Jenna?" I set up a filter to auto-delete anything from her address. No response was the best response. But she didn't stop there. When she couldn't get to me, she went after everyone else. My mom was her first stop. She showed up unannounced, sobbing about how I'd abandoned her out of nowhere. My mom, bless her, saw right through it. "She cheated, Mom," I told her over the phone. There was a pause. Then my mom's voice went cold. "With that weasel ex of hers? Oh, honey, you did the right thing." I heard muffled voices before she added sharply, "Jenna, I think it's time for you to leave, and don't come back." The next day, a fruit basket arrived at my office with a note. "Hang in there, slugger. This too shall pass. Love, Mom." How I mentioned my mom's the best? Next, Jenna went after my friends. She tried cornering my best friend, Chris, at the gym, fake tears and all, spinning lies about me, threatening her, stealing her money, forcing her into the divorce. Thank God Chris didn't buy it. He cut her off mid-sentence. "Save it, Jenna. I know everything. Dan told me the day he caught you riding Jake like a cheap carnival ride. I would have paid good money to see her face." Her smear campaign spread to friends, co-workers, even my dentist. She flooded Facebook with cryptic posts painting herself as the victim of a cold-hearted husband who'd given up too soon. Her friends rushed to comfort her, eating up every word that I deactivated my Facebook account to avoid the circus, but friends kept sending me screenshots. Eventually, I told them to stop. I didn't need constant reminders of her chaos. Through it all, I stayed quiet. As much as I wanted to shout the truth, I knew that engaging would only fuel her drama. The only way to win was not to play. But my silence only drove her crazier. Late-night calls turned into her showing up at my door at 2 a.m., crying, begging me to take her back. This time, my security cameras caught everything that I called the cops and watched from the window as they escorted her away, still sobbing about her huge mistake. The next morning, I filed for a restraining order. With the footage and police report, the judge granted a temporary one immediately. 2 weeks after the temporary restraining order, we had a hearing for the permanent one. That sent Jenna into a full meltdown. In her mind, it meant I still cared. If he really wanted me gone, he wouldn't bother with a restraining order, she told my lawyer. He just shook his head. Mrs. Mitchell, my client is invested in his safety, not you. I thought she'd back off, especially with the settlement money she'd gotten. I was wrong. The day the order was finalized, I came home to find my house wrecked, photos smashed, clothes shredded, TV destroyed. Security footage showed Jenna using her old key, screaming about how I'd regret leaving her. The cops arrested her within the hour. I pressed charges. She got 30 days in county and a warning to stay away. I figured that was the end of it. Then my bank called. Someone had tried to drain my accounts using my info. Guess who? I froze everything immediately. A week later, a process server handed me papers. Jenna was suing to modify the divorce decree, claiming she was pregnant and I was the father. She wanted emergency support. I called my lawyer, panicking. Relax, he said. We'll demand a paternity test before any payments. At the hearing, Jenna showed up in a tight dress, fake tears on cue, while her lawyer spun a sob story. Mine countered with facts, her affair, harassment, property damage, even identity theft. The judge denied her request for support and ordered a paternity test within 30 days. A month later, the results came in. Surprise to no one, Jake was the father. He ended up supporting her and the baby. The word was he wasn't happy about it. As for me, I moved to a new city, sold the house, and started fresh. No more chaos, no more drama, just peace. 2 years later, I'm doing great. Jenna still posts unhinged stuff online, but I stay out of it. I don't feel angry anymore, just grateful. Caught my wife cheating, divorced her, survived the madness, and came out stronger. She stuck with her choices. I got my life back. The end.